Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from the New York Post. This is dated September 25th. It's by the great Douglas Murray, and it's entitled, Democrats are driving young men to kill snazzies who aren't snazzies. And you can see what word I'm referring to on the screen, though I'm sure if you're not looking at the screen, you could figure it out. And of course, this has to do with the unfortunate assassination of the man on the screen right here, Charlie Kirk. So, excuse me, let's go ahead and see what Douglas Murray has to say. It says, do words have any effect? Those of us who write for a living like to think so. We hope that we can use words to persuade, enlighten, and perhaps even entertain. But if words do have an effect, then why are so many people in positions of power so incredibly careless with the words they use? In recent weeks, here are just a few of the words that have been used to describe ICE officers: Gestapo and neo-snazzies. Still pretty early in the video, so they keep saying that particular word that way. And also secret police is another word, and of course none of that's actually true. Let's keep going here. It says, and these words were not used by some deranged online hysteric typing from their basement. They were used by, in order, Governor Tim Walz, Mayor of Boston Michelle Wu, and Governor Gavin Newsom. The first of those people could have been the vice president had the election last November gone the other way. The last of them, the governor of California, clearly harbors an ambition to be a future president. Yeah, don't vote for him if he runs, guys, because otherwise the entire country is going to look like California, and that's not a good thing. It says, you would have thought that people in such prominent positions would have thought twice before sticking the worst possible labels onto federal employees. After all, what are you meant to do with snazzies or neo-snazzies? You're meant to shoot them, right? And again, do not do that, and this is coming on the aftermath of that shooting at the, was it Dallas facility again? The other day, that killed actually migrants. It didn't kill any officers, so good job to that person, you moron. Let's keep going here. It says, you're at the very least meant to get in there early and smash them up. Who thinks snazzies shouldn't be challenged, let alone neo-snazzy stormtroopers like the Gestapo or secret police? In a culture which has almost no other reference points for evil, calling people such things is an outright invitation for people to act. Yeah, to the people that call everything the World War II evil German people, there is a group of people that have existed in the world, in fact, exist right now as I'm saying this and as you're hearing it, that's far worse than the snazzies ever were, and just no one ever wants to mention that. But it's the communists, just so you know. It's not even close, too. So think of something else besides the only thing you tend to be able to reference, okay? Unless you believe that you can identify people as snazzies, but believe you should leave snazzies alone. And exactly who thinks that? Either that, or these people do not really mean the words they are using, but are cynically deploying them in order to win some kind of argument. Yeah, that's kind of been my argument the entire time, is either these people are lying to you, and they know what those words mean, and they're purposely saying that to incite you, or they don't really know what those words mean. Those are the only two options, and it just tells you about what these people are all about, okay? That they're either stupid or they're lying. There's no other option. It says, yet a lot of people will take words seriously and do. The young man who shot Charlie Kirk seems to sincerely believe that Kirk was beyond the pale and his views utterly reprehensible, and I almost would guarantee that he didn't actually know anything about anything Charlie Kirk said. Or, as the alleged assassin texted to his lover, I had enough of his, that being Charlie Kirk's, hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. And I'd love to find out what he thought Charlie Kirk said that was hateful, because I don't think he knows anything about what he actually said. It seems that the alleged killer really believed that it was the right thing to do to shoot Kirk through the neck. After all, that's what you do with snazzies, right? Of course Kirk was nothing like a snazzy. He was a totally mainstream and inspiring young conservative. You would have thought that in the wake of his murder, people would tone down their rhetoric a bit. If there are impressionable people out there who are listening and willing to pick up a gun and fire it, then perhaps it would be a good idea to dial down the snazzy accusations. But no. The radical left and even the mainstream left, as exemplified by Walz and Newsom, have decided to keep going with their labels. And they have decided that even federal officers working for a federal agency should also be labeled as snazzies. And what would you know? But this week, another person decided to act accordingly. And the killer's name here was Joshua Johns, and he's another man in his 20s. And he, too, decided to pick up a gun, get up on a roof, and fire at people he had been told were snazzies. Like Charlie Kirk's murderer, he, too, engraved his bullets with slogans, in this case, anti-ICE. And he fired his gun at ICE agents. Says it happened, the only people he shot were 3 detainees, one of whom died of his injuries. I thought I saw it was 2 somewhere, but okay, 1 is better. It still sucks, but it's better than 2. Says, but wouldn't it be this be a good time to stop telling people that everyone you don't like is a snazzy? Says, wouldn't it be a good time to reflect that if you tell people day after day that ICE employees, are not simply people going about their work and actually making this country safer by detaining foreign criminals, but that they are snazzies? Just the night before John picked up his gun, Governor Newsom was on Stephen Colbert's show claiming that the deploying of ICE officers are authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government. And that's pretty rich coming from Gavin Newsom, of all people. And that's also incitement, because there's nothing Donald Trump is doing that's authoritarian. Okay, which tells me, again, either Gavin Newsom is stupid or he's lying, because he doesn't seem to know what authoritarian means. And also, dude, you're Gavin Newsom. Have you seen the things that you've done in California? Like, hello? Self-awareness much? And my other thing is, too, like, let's just say, God forbid, Gavin Newsom becomes president. Are all those people in ICE suddenly going to become good guys? Like, he's going to need them for something, right? So, what are you doing, buddy? Because we have got so used to this. We have got so used to the mainstream figures using language like this. And while some of us long ago decided that these words have been stripped of any meaning, I'm one of those people, it says there are clearly people in our society who do not agree with that conclusion. They take these claims literally. Newsom also said this week that he believes that there may not be an election in this country in 2028. Yes, there will be. Don't even worry about that. He was whooped and applauded for this brave warning, but just let that sink in. There are senior figures, once responsible figures, who are even now saying what they said in 2016 to 2020 and from 2020 to 2024. Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and others have all accelerated this rhetoric, as did the great uniter Joe Biden, who is, of course, anything but. Says they have all at different stages claim that President Trump is funny mustache German guy, that he's going to cancel future elections, and that the democratic experiment in America is essentially over because of him. Just as if you needed me to tell you, it's not, so just chill. Because personally, if I had predicted the end of democracy only to see it keep going messily along, I would retire into silent obscurity. If I had said that my opponents were all funny mustache German guy, and then not just once, but many times people started taking shots at them, including twice at President Trump, I'd probably dial it down a bit. Yet it seems that people like Newsom don't agree with that, and it seems that they won't stop, even though they must now understand the stakes. But just consider the fact that, as well as all the acts of violence described above, the rhetorical rhetoric of our time led another man last week to shoot up an ABC affiliate in Sacramento. And that was because Jimmy Kimmel got canceled for, 3 days? And this guy decided to do that. And he was another leftist, too, if you know anything about that. Seems like we have a leftist problem. So we have attacks on politicians, journalists, activists, ICE agents, and more, and still they're all funny mustache German guy crowd are going to keep going. Fine, we should notice them and hold them accountable at the ballot box. Perhaps also stressing the growing amount of blood that they are getting on their hands. And that's the end of the article. And yet, I don't think they care. Okay, they're going to keep using these words because they want stuff like this to happen. They're going to publicly say, oh no, violence bad, don't do that. But behind the scenes, they're like, yes. Okay, I guarantee you Gavin Newsom is fine with what's happening. Okay, same with Tim Walz, as he was mentioned. Same with the Boston mayor, who's like an epic retard in and of herself. So, that's kind of really all I have to say about this. This article kind of punctuated everything I wanted to say about this in the first place. So, blame the left for this, the Democrats, because it is them and their rhetoric, and they're not going to dial it down anytime soon. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.